Good evening. Welcome to another Moments with Mills. This is specifically for my educator friends, counselors, teachers, etc. So I'm putting this on my social media as well as my website, bethkellymills.com. But I wanted to make sure my teacher friends saw this because I'm hoping that this is a bit of encouragement to them. So, it's that time of the year where we're past our honeymoon phase, but we're still working on getting into that, what I call teacher fit. And so it's just an exhausting time. 4 years, a lot more than 4 years, 4 decades in education land. I learned a few things, lots of ebbs and flows. Matter of fact, I had a gentleman teacher back when I first started teaching several years into it in Broken Arrow at Central Middle School. It's no longer there on Main Street, but he said to me, education, everything comes and goes. There's not any new ideas. It all comes back. It just might be titled something. And sometimes that I have found after all these years that really is true. So while today looks very different and I guarantee you it feels a lot the same. It just is a very difficult career sometimes, but what I do know is that when you have a calling in education, it's very hard to deny it, and it's very hard to walk away from you. It grabs onto you and keeps you. You have difficult days, you have difficult seasons. Sometimes it's a difficult year, but things roll around. So I want to share some of the things that I've learned that hopefully can be an encouragement to you teachers and school counselors and administrators, that kind of thing. So one of the things I learned is, what are you looking for? When you go to look for the screwdriver in the toolbox, assuming that it's in the toolbox, that's what you're going to find. You're going to find what you're looking for is the idea there. And so if you're looking for negative things, that's what you're going to find. So my encouragement to you is to find those things that are positive. That student who smiles at you when they're entering your classroom, or when you give a paper back to them and they smile and say thank you, or their eyes brighten, or when you see those light bulbs come on in those kids and they're actually learning, or they're starting to ask those questions that you're like, yes, I am connecting with them. Look for those moments. Look for those jewels. Occasionally you might get a card or an email or a note from a parent, from a student, whatever. Maybe a student draws something for you and gives it to you. Whatever that is, put that in your paycheck file. That's what my mom told me when I first began teaching, because, we don't get a whole lot. So we're always kind of questioning, does society really know what our worth is? The important thing is that you know what your worth is. And those kinds of things can go in that paycheck file. And my paycheck file has been a lot of fun to go back and read through over the years, and just for that encouragement and that spice. The other thing in what you're looking for, what you can do to encourage is what are you giving back? How are you reaching out to that kid who's a little quiet there in the corner and needs a little bit of encouragement? What if you wrote them a real quick sentence or two note and left it on their desk? Or what about that colleague of yours that seems to be having a little bit of a difficult time? Write them a little note, give them a pat on the back, bring them a cup of coffee, something so that you're thinking more of others than yourself. That can bring you out and bring you some encouragement as well. The other thing is, and we hear this all the time in education, and it's true, you got to come back to and remember, what is your why? Why did you enter this career field? Why did it mean so much to you to want to be a teacher, to be that school counselor, to be that administrator? And when you can reflect on that, matter of fact, in my office, I always had a little note on my bulletin board in Eyes Vision where it would say, remember your why. And sometimes I needed that self-encouragement, okay? So another thing to help you get through this difficult season and kind of boost, refuel, is go back to the basics. There's a great book out there called The First Days of School, and I had my whole career, I have a niece who just recently started kindergarten teaching in Skytook, and I got her book. It's a 5th edition. I didn't know it was 5th edition already, but there's some great stuff in there. Yes, it's called First Days of School, but there's stuff that will carry you all the way through. Basics like meeting the kids at the door, saying their name personally, and when you're engaging with them and you're getting reaction, that's going to refuel you. I promise you. It talks real simply about the basics of being an effective teacher. And sometimes we got to block out all that extra noise out there. And there is a lot of extra noise out there. Block that out and focus on what you're doing in the classroom and the relationships you're building with those students, and what you are giving to them, the basics, right? Highly recommend going back and refreshing yourself with that. Also, most importantly, set boundaries for yourself. What are the hours that you're spending at school? I found myself spending way more at school and giving way more to my students and my colleagues than I was to my own family sometimes. And I had to reset what those boundaries are and work on sticking to them. And I highly recommend that. But no matter how you slice it, you only have 24 hours of the day, and you want to make every hour count, kind of like a budget. Make every hour count, give every dollar a name, according to Dave Ramsey. Get the sleeping hours in there, get the taking care of yourself, taking care of your family, and being an effective teacher by managing your time wisely. All right. So that's what I want to share with you. Those things right there. I also, one last thing. What are you thankful for? When you're thinking about your career, you're thinking about the end of the day, you come to an end of a day, you're exhausted. Okay, force yourself. What are some things that I'm thankful for? 1, 2, and 3. And they can be very general. They can be very specific. But if you can focus on those things, that's what you're looking for, right? That can give you a great deal of encouragement. So I hope I have said something that you can take away, something that has encouraged you. Remember that you are important. What you do is very, very important. So keep on trucking, know your worth, and take care of yourself. All right.